Good day, President's News on the 30th of November. And behind me, not for the first time, um, the uh, the wonderful new sports centre at Norman Park. I feel a bit like a child on Christmas Eve with the presents all wrapped up round the tree and unable to open them. And at the moment, we're waiting with on tender hooks, really, for the builder to complete, and we hope to take occupation probably now Friday this week. So if that's the case and we get in on Friday, I will try and do a President's Extra and maybe have a little walk around the facility, video it, and post that. So keep a lookout for that. It probably, whilst we're talking about the centre, I just remind you we're still looking for funding to complete the fitting out and to reduce the amount we have to borrow to complete the whole project. And we've got the debenture scheme of £10,000 units, although you can split those if you can get to club together with another person or another three people. And then there's also the matching donation scheme, where a member has very kindly offered to match donations from club members up to £10,000 that are given between now at the end of the year. And since we launched that last week, we've had £1,600 in. So please bear that in mind and make your little contribution towards or big contribution towards this great legacy project that you can see behind me. Anyway, moving on to athletic matters. Last weekend, we had the third round of the Kent Cross Country League at Footscray Meadows, and another very successful weekend for the club. So we were on the boys' side, we had first team places for the under-13s and the under-15s. The under-17s were second, and the seniors were third. That was excellent. On the girls' side, the under-13s and the under-15s were first. The under-17s were second, and the under-20s were first. And there was no race for the senior ladies this last weekend. So looking at some notable individual performances, the senior men who came third, we had runners in 12th, 14th, 20th, 21 and 22nd position: Robert Donoghue, Dominic Smith, Martin Richardson and Mika Evans. So well done, gentlemen. The under-17s, we only had two running, so we didn't get a team score there. The under-17s who came second, that was Mark Constable in 7th, Harry Sage in 8th, and Jasper Brooks in 9th. So very good grouping from those three guys, 7th, 8th and 9th. Similarly, in the under-15s, with Joseph Scaines was third, Joseph Hill was fourth, and Jed Starvis was fifth. And not far behind them was Lucas Elmquist. And I think we also had runners in positions 18, 19 and 20. We had 7 runners in that group in the top 20. And then the under-13s, they were also first team home. James Shaw first, Kieran Farrell was fifth, and Daniel Horgan was 8th. Turning to the ladies, the under-20 ladies, Hannah Clark was first, Cameron Kelly Gordon was third, and Lily Mears was 5th. So they were well up and took that team prize relatively easily. The under-17s were in second position, but the race winner was Megan Slattery. So well done, Megan. Libby White was third, and Isla Spink was 10th. So we were close to winning that, not quite making it. The under-15s were first. Megan Barlow won the race, and Naomi Mossy was 7th, and Isabel Pauling came in 10th. And finally, the under-13s with Aofe McDonoghue first, Alba Homan Yo was 5th, and Cara Bryant was 6th. And then we had from 10 to 14 was all Blackheath and Bromley Harrier runners. We had 9 in the top 20. So good weekend over at Footscray Meadows. Turning to Parkrun, we had 42 runners at 20 different locations. Although it's worth mentioning that the Zero to Heroes group, this is this group that runs couch to 5K courses and then develops runners onwards, which is supported by quite a few of our runners as coaches. They had their graduation ceremony at Bromley this last weekend. Now they run during the school term times, they run the course for beginners. It's a 12-week course, and they culminated at the end of the term now with a park run. And so they had 81 runners at Bromley undertaking graduation, a combination of people doing it for the first time and other Zero to Hero members pacing them round. So congratulations to all those folk who've got into Parkrun there. Looking at how our runners did, we had Gregory Firth was first at Orpington. Bromley, Clayton Aves was third, and Paul Sharp was fifth. Katie Sugden was fifth lady as well. Zoe Kingsmill was third at Clapham Common. Well done, Zoe. Zoe for Sackerley was fourth at Homewood, and Nick Barber came a very excellent sixth at Rothay Parkrun. So on the over 80s brigade, I don't think Ian Kaiser was running this last weekend. Mr. Isaacs ran at South Norwood. Now, the last time he ran at South Norwood was in May when the conditions were fine. It was excellent for doing a fast time. And sure enough, he took the over 80s record. So he sauntered down there this weekend thinking he'd just scamp around, which he did do. And at the end of the day, he found out that his previous record of 28.16, he'd broken by over half a minute with a time of 27.31. I'm coming to the conclusion he just runs the first record breaking run slowly so that he can break it again, really. Anyway, no, congratulations, John. Excellent running. Very jealous. What else has happened? Well, we've had last Friday, we had the Vice President's dinner down at Beckerhamians, and I think a pretty close to a record number of 44 people attending. We haven't had one for 3 years because of the pandemic. And uniquely, this Vice President's dinner, it is the Vice President's dinner after all, had two presidents there. So Nick Corrid never had an opportunity to attend one during his 2-year tenure. So it was deemed appropriate to invite him and myself. And we had two presidents there. And it was a very good evening. And many thanks to Tony Pontifex for organising. And thanks to all the VPs who, as well as paying for their suppers, make donations, and that helps to cover the cost of hospitality for the young athletes at the annual dinner. So thank you, Vice Presidents. You're great supporters of the club. Events coming up this weekend, quite a busy weekend. On Saturday, there's the Kent Masters at Dartford. More importantly, on Sunday, we've got the mob match against South London Harriers. That's also the club 7.5 mile championship. That's going to start. The race starts at 11 o'clock. We'll be based at Croydon Rugby Football Club at the far end of Sparrow's Den. Plenty of parking there. Please turn up in plenty of time to register and then scamper down to the start. The weekend after that, we've got another mob match away at Orion in Chingford, and that's on the Saturday, and that's a 2:30 start. So people might like to, I hope, people get organised for transport and getting over there. It would be really good to see a good turnout at both those events and see if we can't win at least one of the mob matches this year. So that's looking ahead. Athletically, looking ahead on the social side, we've got the Wednesday Nighters Christmas Supper on the 21st of December at Beckerhamians at 7:30 for 8. Of course, the bar will be open. There'll be excellent Christmas food. There'll be carols, a raffle, the 300 club draw, and also the draw for the club's marathon place. So just a reminder, if you've had a rejection from the London Marathon, if you've got a rejection slip, you're eligible to enter the draw for one of the club places, which we will draw out on that night. So just let myself or Nick Barber know, send us a copy of your rejection slip or email, and we'll put your name in the draw. Tickets for this event can be got from Jerry Alger, and details are on Facebook and social media. Looking ahead past to the other side of Christmas, of course, Boxing Day, we will be holding the traditional fancy dress paper chase. I'm pretty certain that's going to start from, we'll meet at Beckerhamians for a 10:30 start. I'll confirm that next week. Prize, of course, for the best fancy dress, plus an opportunity to sample the President's Christmas cake, which has been baked and is just maturing slowly, ready for Boxing Day. So that's it for this week's news, except I'm hopefully looking forward to doing this President's Extra at the end of the week, when we'll get inside the magnificent building behind me. But until then, goodbye.